Laugh out loud, love a lot, and shop for what makes you happy.
Hey guys, Mandy here, and today I wanted to share with you some of my potty training tips. At least things that have worked for us, how we went about potty training. Maybe it'll give you a starting point if you haven't potty trained yet, or some tips or ideas. But your kid is your kid, your family is your family. You do what works for all of you. My daughter is 4. We potty trained her last year, and my son just turned 3, and we're potty training him this year. So my daughter was 3.5 when we potty trained her, because we were waiting until she was 3 on my mom's advice. My mom potty trained 9 of us kids, and she told me, she's like, you know, with you older kids, I started potty training at 2 and you weren't trained until you were 3 anyway. And then with the younger kids, I started potty training at 3 and they learned like that. So why spend a year fighting it? And I thought that was a really good idea. But I really feel like it's to each their own. Like, you know your kids better than anybody else, so you know when the right time to potty train is. So my daughter was 3.5, and that's because she turned 3 in November, and then I wanted to wait for warmer weather to start potty training her, because the clothes just come off and it's a lot easier. And then my son just turned 3 in April, so that's when we started potty training him. People did tell us that potty training girls is easier than potty training boys. My kids are so stereotypical. But anyway, my daughter, like I said, she was 3.5. I potty trained her on a Saturday. So I took all day. We didn't do anything else, just potty training. The next day, Sunday, she wore panties to church and she was fine. So she picked it up really easily. And that's not to say that she hasn't regressed at all. She does. She goes through waves of doing better and then not. And my son is the same way. My son, on the other hand, we are about a month into potty training, and for the most part, he's pretty good, especially when we're home. He really does not like pooping on the potty, which is completely normal. He will if I catch him, but usually he has his poop in the morning when he's still in his pull-up. Kitty, you're gonna knock stuff over. That is the difference. I have found it to be true with my daughter and my son. She was really easy to potty train, and he is taking a little bit longer. So next I'm going to take you into the bathroom and kind of show you how I have it set up. Okay, so first thing you'll notice is that we have a towel down. I decided not to keep our bath mat on the floor because we were just having to wash it so often, and it was getting really worn out really fast, especially in those beginning days where he did not hit the potty very well at all. By putting a towel down, I don't feel bad about having to wash it all the time. We also keep a little step stool by the potty. And then here is, in my opinion, the key to potty training. First off, we have both of their undies just in this basket, just tossed in there, both of the kids. I originally had the underwear, my daughter's underwear, upstairs in her room, because that's where people keep underwear. But it really didn't make sense for us. She was constantly having to go up and get new underwear and come back down. So it just made more sense to keep the underwear down here in a basket by the potty. We also have these flushable wipes that we keep in the basket. Wiping a preschooler is hard enough. Using the flushable wipes makes it so much easier and a lot less scary for them to be on the potty. And finally, the last thing that we keep in there is a container of Lysol wipes. I just took the label off so that it looks a little bit neater and cleaner, but those are so essential for wiping down the seat, for wiping off the floor, for all those little accidents, so that I'm not having to mop the bathroom all the time. So for us, we put him right into underwear right away. There are a couple exceptions, which I'll get to in a minute, but for the most part, he just wears underwear all the time. And for him, I really feel like that helped him to feel when he was wet and see that it made a mess and make him want to go potty on the potty. The exceptions are bedtime. Both of our kids still wear pull-ups to bed. We'll also put a pull-up on him when we're somewhere where we can't just like leave in the middle of whatever we're doing. If we're just going to a friend's house, he can be in underwear. If he has an accident, we'll go home. And that's sort of his consequences, his punishment, is that he has to go home, because big kids don't pee in their underwear. Even if we're grocery shopping, he will be in underwear. But if we're somewhere where, like my husband's graduation this year, stuff like that, where like, you can't just leave right in the middle of it. We'll just put a pull-up on him. And the final thing that worked for us was when I first started potty training him, like that first day or two, I took him to the potty every 20 minutes or so until I figured out how often he needed to go potty. Some of you, maybe you know that before you start potty training. I was not that way. I do not pay attention to that sort of thing until I have to. So for us, I started every 20 minutes until I figured out that it was, you know, maybe he could go an hour without having an accident, or maybe he could go 2 hours. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, feel free to leave them below here on YouTube or over on the Facebook page at facebook.com/laughloveshop, and I will see you next time. Bye!